plugged in? I know this is a stupid question.
That's years later.
Okay, you good?
We are now good.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start out with the consent agenda. Anything anybody wants, pulled to a separate item? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Okay, comments? I'll start. Do you have any details on the math books and the stoves?
Yes, so the math books are texts that are outdated, that are no longer used. And the stoves are broken beyond repair.
Okay, and what are we doing with them? Just scrapping them or having a trash?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
I do like to follow up on one of the math books, I guess the number 2. I understand they're outdated. I understand they're of no present cognitive value for teaching. But I also noticed that the teacher that filled out the form did mention no room. That's not a reason for disposing of public property, that there's no room to store items. Just for future reference.
Right.
Thank you.
okay. Anything else on the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor? Any against? Okay. Financials? Do I have a motion to, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Aye. Any against? All right. Board president report. First is just a follow-up from the discussion with Dutchess Community College and BOCES. I met with Gully, and then I talked with Kelly, who's really our rep on the Dutchess County School Board, or at BOCES. We're trying to get to some sort of I'll call it a county-wide meeting together to, just figure this thing out. I mean, we honestly there's no real explanations on, why the number was so large, why it had to happen immediately. There was also no sort of legitimate, well, you can do this if you have students say that I don't know, receive free and reduced lunch, you can use this as a way to balance that to ensure equity. So hopefully that meeting is going to take place in the next month. We're going to try to get legislators there, as well as someone from Dutchess Community College. But that's really all I had for this report. Chris, did you have anything?
I don't have anything to share.
Okay. Next is Caroline.
Good evening, everyone. So I have a pretty detailed report. Some things I do want to highlight is that our IXL benchmarking is in process. And with that, this will be used to create win groups for our second cycle. We are beta testing some data tracking systems to be able to track targeted instructional support interventions and progress monitoring for better student outcomes. As was in the past, there will be win letters. Mr. Kirsch worked with Matt Miller, who's a middle school special education teacher, to update the win letter template and to streamline the process. So principals will be working with their teams to be able to enter that data and produce those letters and send them out as has been in the past. We're working currently on a journey of a blazer. So it will sort of be the non-negotiable events and or field trips that a student will experience P12. The next step of this process, once we identify those experiences that are tied to the curriculum that we want to ensure all students have made available to them, is then we'll look at funding structures to make sure that finances are not a barrier for anyone. Samantha Holzberg met with Local 38, which I believe is a sheet metal workers union. And she's discussing apprenticeship opportunities for our Millbrook juniors and seniors. She's also working with the high school counselors on creating college fairs, elective fairs, and there's also been an experience for school to work for any student that is interested in pursuing the workforce after high school. So we're really trying to balance opportunities and exposure for our students so that as it in line with our proposed strategic plan, they can create their own path to success and they can define what their future looks like and then follow up accordingly. Samantha and Amy are also working with Lauren Prince. She's one of our high school counselors to maintain a scholarship information page so that students and families will have sort of like a one-stop opportunity to research all of the scholarships available. So that's new this year and I think it's awesome. Evan has just worked with all 4 principals to complete a software audit. So each of the principals was given an opportunity to complete sort of a wish list and also to assess usage of each of the software programs for their buildings and to be able to make recommendations. Say, for example, maybe only 2 teachers are using a particular program in a building, but there's something that can do pretty much the same thing. Is it worth it to pay for 2 programs that do the same exact thing, et cetera, et cetera. So we were able to find about $15,000 that could potentially be utilized in different areas by cutting similar products or combining product usage, and then maybe being able to purchase some of the wish list softwares for the future. Additionally, we are able to continue the process of the ruler phase 2 rollout. So building principals are working with Samantha and their building based teams to be able to do that. Evan and Sean Schock also met with representatives from CSI regarding software updates and cybersecurity upgrades to ensure our system integrity. So that process is ongoing. It's sort of at a phase where we're identifying things that we need to upgrade, and then we'll make recommendations going forward as to what needs to be prioritized in that arena. Family University was a great success. Alden Place hosted our most recent. As you're aware, we have 5 family universities on the calendar for this school year. So far, the middle school, Elm Drive, and then Alden Place have presented to the community, to those in attendance, what each of their buildings is doing in the realm of SEL. As you know, Samantha Holzberg is also working on this. So this is some of the building-based supports that are happening or are in place, as well as some of the district programming that we've been doing this year. Samantha is working with an advisory council to update our district-wide counseling plan. So that meeting is in 2 weeks, I believe, in the beginning of February. And that will be an advisory council to review the existing plan and to help make some recommendations going forward. I attended the Millbrook Education Foundation meeting, and I wanted to say thank you because they have been extremely supportive of our students, you know, this year especially. I feel like we've had more grants requested this year than we have in a while, so it's really awesome. I believe they've supported in excess of $20,000 in grant opportunities for students and teachers so far this year, so that's really amazing. They also presented to the group some scholarship availability and other grant money from Berkshire to Conic. So we will be working with the high school counselors. They do have some of that information on their website already. So feel free to check that out. They did comment that some of the scholarship programming that's available from Millbrook, as well as some other school districts in the area, that they've had really low application rates from Millbrook. So sort of just trying to plug that because I'm not sure if there is a lack of awareness. But they haven't had a lot of applications, so it's something else that we could look into for our kiddos. And then today we had assemblies at the middle school, and we will be having a similar assembly on anti-bullying at Alden Place on the 26th, and then at the high school on the 31st. And as always, the additional information is there and available to look at. And one more thing that came out of coffee with the cabinet last week. There was a suggestion made that I rather liked. So we are pursuing the possibility of a parent book club. So I know that there's always interest in like, what are our students reading? What are they interested in? So we'll take sort of just a couple of options from the span of books that are typically taught throughout the district experience. And we'll read them as a group. We'll discuss them so that when they come about in their child's education, parents have the opportunity to really discuss them and be able to support their students' literacy, understanding, exploration of whatever themes and topics are in those texts, etc. So more to come on that in the future, and that is all I have for my report.
Just had a question. It did say under public content for board president, vice president, to report on the free and reduced lunch. Were we going to postpone that, or did you want us, Jennifer, I didn't say anything on
That's Perry and Chris.
Barry, do we have on the agenda to talk about the free and reduced lunch?
We were going to talk about it in executive session to review a proposed letter from Dina and Chris.
Or me,
Or Jen?
or Chris.
I'm sorry, Jen. Yeah,
that? Okay,
Sorry.
thank you. It was just-
sorry, Jen. All right. Anything else?
So that Berkshire one, like that, if you guys do all the scholarships on one page, that would put that on the scholarship page. So
Yeah.
hopefully that would, yeah, that's a great idea.
And I know I contacted Lauren Prince about it, and she said that she had already sent out a notification about it and was gonna sort of like wait a couple days and then send out another just mass notification, I guess, so students that would be eligible.
How did they used to do the scholarship? Like, how would the kids, like in 5 years ago, 3 years ago, find out about the scholarships?
It was more, so we had a guidance webpage, but I don't think that there was a lot of specific information there. I think it was more of like a meeting assembly type thing. And then the students would be able to find out what was available, and then they would be able to look at the like application requirements, and then they could select what they were going to apply for and follow the process.
I want to say thank you for making it so easy to attend FamilyU online. It was so easy, it popped up and I just followed the link. And I love the presentation. I really like that there were clips and photos and videos and snippets of the children doing the activities. I thought that was the most meaningful part, and really being really interactive with their feedback.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Anything else? All right, let's go to Steve.
Hey, everybody. So here at the middle school, in the new year, we are Getting into our winter benchmarking, which we just spoke about, whether that's using our IXL for the ELA and math, also our SRI benchmarking in ELA. We've been doing a lot of work as a staff. Our last half day of superintendent's conference professional time was really nice. We worked together as a team on a bunch of ruler activities and starting to kind of show our teachers some different things that they can do to promote ruler in their classrooms. So we kind of did that as a fun exercise for us to see how we can link emotions to many of the different things we do in the classroom. So that was really positive. Here we just spoke about that we did have the assembly here for our students, anti-bullying assembly. We've had a lot of that kind of stuff going on in the last few months, which has been really good. We're starting to look forward to the turn of the semester. So next Monday, we will be moving over to the third quarter, which brings about some changes. Students are going to be getting new home bases to start their day to make some new connections with new adults in the building, as well as with new classmates. So kind of a positive way for them to start their day. And now that we know our students a little bit better too, we've been able to start to link up certain students with certain teachers that they do have positive relationships with. So that's been really positive. Our winter sports are off to an incredible start, doing really great. I've had the opportunity to go and see them both here and out in the public. In some of their sports, we had 4 6th graders that were recently honored for the Patriot Pen. That was really great. What else do we have? Our clubs have been doing a lot of really fantastic things around the building. If you're on that top level, just past the main office, we have a board called Caught Being Kind. And it's been a nice little initiative where students can recognize each other, teachers can recognize students, students can recognize teachers. And when we see someone doing something, going out of their way of being kind, we let the person know. We fill out a little form, and we put another great positive way for just all the little things that our students are regularly doing to be recognized. So that's been really wonderful. And then, believe it or not, planning for the end of the year is really kind of in full swing. We're really excited to hopefully be having our full complement of end of the year scaffolded trips for our groups, our 6th graders who go to medieval times, our 7th graders are looking to go to Philadelphia for one night, and our Washington DC trip, which is a multi-night event, all linked to learning in the curriculums that they're learning about. So that has been a lot of the work we've been doing. Next week, we will be honoring our students of the quarter on Friday for students who exemplify what it means to be a Blazer here in the building in the second quarter. So a lot of really great stuff happening here at the middle school. And we're excited to hopefully have some more the next time I see you all.
Thanks, Steve. Questions, comments for Steve?
How did the presentation, which was maybe a little bit more at the anti-bullying presentation, go today? And was everyone required to attend?
Yeah, so the way we did it, we wanted to scaffold it based on the age of the students. And based on Grace Smith House, that's the way they've seen the best success. So the presentation looked a little bit different for each grade level based on their age ranges. So what we did was during specials, essentially students came down, we took attendance up, and then the 6th graders came down first period, 7th graders second period, and 8th graders third period. So all students that were in the building were in attendance, and I think it was really well received. We had a survey that was sent out by Ms. Holzborg today. Tomorrow during home base, students will be asked to fill out the survey so we can get some feedback on things they like, things they didn't like, things they learned, so we can continue every year to just build on it and make it better. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else? All right, old business. The funding repair reserve. Do I have a motion to approve?
A motion.
Do I have a second?
Awesome.
Okay. Elliot, you want to just give us a reminder of what this is about?
Sure thing. So this is to fund the repair of one of the 2 high school chillers that controls the cooling system at that building. For those that may not be aware, the high school was built with a central heating and cooling plant. Over time, one unit was used to provide parts for the other, and now they're both disabled as a result of that behavior over a protracted period. So we're going to invest in wholly repairing the more serviceable unit at present. And depending on the way our capital plans go, we'll either budget for the repair of the other unit, or we'll start looking at replacement plans, again, depending on our capital project planning over the next couple months.
Questions or comments for Elliot? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any against? All right, very good.
Thank you.
Next is the committee reports. District Culture Committee.
So the district culture committee met, we spoke about the data from the culture surveys that were done last year. The committee left off feeling that we needed to do some updated surveying because that was quite some time ago. I think we've done a lot of programming this year and having an ongoing dialogue with efforts to shift the culture. And we felt like it would be prudent to get some updated information about how students, families, staff are feeling in this area. So the administration has been exploring some options of tools that we could use to get that information to bring back to the culture committee, and then if possible, have some of that data before we meet again, but if not, being able to at least have a tool ready to use.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Dina or Chris?
Caroline, I thought of this after our meeting. Would educational elements have any tools regarding how we can assess culture?
To be honest with you, I don't know, but I can
Okay.
ask them, yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping that perhaps I could do them since I haven't attended any because they don't work with my schedule, and I feel it's unfair to put the burden on both of you. I'm in the other two committees for PTO and legislative. It was at a different time, but that time is very difficult, like the 3:30 afternoons. So it's just not fair to you guys for, I feel like, to my name to be on it and not be doing anything.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I mean, we do have, the admin team works together on it, and we have a couple of parents that have engaged, so it's fine.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anything else? Okay, let's move on to the District Technology Committee.
So the technology committee met on January 12th. I facilitated with Mr. Kirsch on his second week in the district. We put him right to work. We reviewed our goals for the year. Caroline discussed the software audit that was in planning and progress at the time and has been largely completed since. But Mr. Kirsch is doing a fantastic job of really looking ahead towards next year already. So we shared goals for the committee, for the district. And then he spoke for a good amount of time on the computer science and digital fluency learning standards and just the foundations of the plans to start working through what that's going to look like for us next year, exploring some vendor partnerships that might have frameworks we can look at. So overall positive meeting, and I'm looking forward to seeing where he takes the committee for the rest of the year.
Okay. Okay. Any questions for Elliot? Okay. Let's move on. Public questions and comments?
We have none.
Okay. You guys are, just because I'm not in the room, suddenly we're gonna blow through the meeting like this?
Right, don't jinx it.
Yeah. All right, next is the monthly reports. The enrollment report is there for your, your attention. Any questions on that? Okay. Sears report. Any questions or comments on this? And Chris LaBelle, we have to go to executive session, so your specific question, we'll talk to that when we get there, okay?
Sure, yep.
PTO report, Dina?
Okay, so right now the PTO is helping to facilitate a fundraiser for one of our second grade students at Elm Drive. It's hashtag John Strong, a student who had a serious medical situation over Christmas break and is still seeking rehabilitation. So you can make checks or cash payments out to Millbrook PTO or pay via Venmo to Millbrook PTO, Millbrook without the E at the end, of course, and put in the memo or donation line, John Strong. So far, I believe we were able to raise about 3,800 as a very approximate. So thank you to all those who've donated so far. And we wish him and his family the best, and are there to support him hopefully throughout this fundraiser. Second is we're arranging for a school-wide bingo night, either through MMS or the MHS, that we'll get more information on. And also within the next week or two, we'll be starting our annual Gertrude Hawk fundraiser, which we do very well with, thanks to our supporters. So that is all for the PTO report.
Very good.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Any limit on donating for that?
We didn't set a time limit. I think even, however long you want to go, we'll definitely get it to the family, whether it's through Venmo or cash or check. I just picked up some donations today from Alden, so you could just send it into the school secretary, even that we'll be happy to go around and pick them up. If it's not through Venmo.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions for Dina? All right, we'll do the MEF report. Chris?
Yep. Caroline, thank you. I'm not going to repeat everything Caroline, all the wonderful things Caroline said about MEF. So I feel as if she made most of my report actually tonight. We're happy, MEF is proud, so happy to contribute everything we've been able to this year. The 8th grade, $5,000 toward the 8th grade field trip, $5,000 toward 7th grade field trip was just approved. And Cheryl so nicely handed over, I won't go through everything, it's an entire packet, a visual thank you from Jillian Barnes to express gratitude for the fancy printer that MEF approved earlier in the year. So I'm just going, here's one little piece of artwork. Where am I supposed to show it? Like here to the owl? Is that right? And then, but an entire packet. So thank you, Mrs. Barnes. And I'll just read her little thank you. Okay, so MEF, thank you so much for always being so supportive of the art department. We are loving the new printer and are trying out lots of new types of papers and materials to make. Thanks for giving the students this excellent opportunity. More samples to come. We are just getting started. Jillian Barnes. So I'm going to share this with the entire MEF board. So
Very good.
everything matters. And I've been saying for a while now, just to plug it again, our Taste of Millbrook this year will be in the fall. So 9/23/23. So mark your calendars at the vineyard.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Okay. The next is just the request for future agenda items. The few that we have on there now. The next is we've got some discussion pertaining to employment history of particular employees and future employment of
Excuse me.
Hey, Perry, Howard Smith.
yeah, sorry, Howard.
All right, it's okay. Going back to the future agenda items, that I guess this is a good place than any to bring this up. I'd like to, well, let's start with the history of it. As most people might have heard, the present town boards and the county, Dutchess and other counties are moving, speedily on the state law, new state law that is allowing, volunteer firefighters and members of volunteer ambulance corps to, get up to a 10% a discount or off their town or county taxes. And as part of this legislation, school districts can opt in as well. I would like to get a consensus on this from the board that we should, that we could move forward, have our attorneys look at the possibility, and it wouldn't happen in this year's budget, but the possibility for next year's budget of giving up to 10% off their school district taxes to any volunteer firefighter or volunteer ambulance corps member of a fire district that lives and owns property within our school district. I believe this there's numerous departments. So I'd like to kick that out to, what I'm asking for is that we have our attorneys look at it.
Yeah, Howard, just so you know, and I should have brought this up, is during our agenda call, this came up at last month's Dutchess County School Board. And I asked Caroline to work with Elliot and Ken to just bring not just the attorney part, but the financial impact part. I mean, is this, is this 10% of our budget, or is it whatever? And I should have brought that up, but I've asked them to come back to us with sort of the story and what we could do, and then we can make a decision whether how we do it, if we do it.
Correct, if we do it. And again, it's up to 10%, which means it could be 1%, anywhere between 0 and 10.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We're working on the numbers for a future conversation.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, Howard. I should have said that.
Okay. Oh, I'm done.
Was there was a second thing?
No, not for me.
Oh, okay. So do I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay. Assume we're